Again, you are listening to Shenanigans with Angel.
Becky.
We didn't hit record again on the video.
You guys got to that.
You're welcome.
Best day ever. Maybe it's
Water.
part of like,
Right? Yeah, we're just shaking our water. Got sparkling water and regular water here, in case you were wondering.
chocolate.
I know you were. I know you were.
Sparkling water.
Yeah.
Refreshing.
We don't need these anymore. If you
Nope,
want to take
we're
them
good.
off. Yeah. All right. Well, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to unplug the headphones because it'll probably make a sound. And we already make enough weird sounds. So I'm going to go ahead and not do that. Mm-hmm. Anyway, as previously stated, I'm Angel.
I'm Becky.
And this is Shenanigans. If this is your first episode, thank you so much for tuning in. Just know we do a little bit of history, a little bit of true crime, and
A little bit of shenanigans.
a little bit of shenanigans. And it's pretty Pacific Northwest
Geared
towards. I was like, what is the word?
I know, I was looking
It's-
for it as you were saying it. We're gearing.
I don't know what I was going
towards
for. Sometimes I talk and I don't know what I'm saying next. That's why I have
I
Becky.
do it like as I'm talking. I don't know what I'm saying as I'm talking.
Mm-hmm.
And so sometimes words will just fall out.
Yeah. And that's how we get the words that you mean to say one thing, but then you go ahead and start saying something else and you're like, oh, well, that's a word now.
Yeah.
So,
Walk away from it just saying that wasn't my best work.
like those anime
Try
characters that they get like all straight and their eyes get wide and then they shuffle off screen. They're like, ding, 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 ding. Yeah, that's how my
Just-
life is.
Soft shoe on out
Right?
here.
Awkwardly, like every awkward person you ever see make an exit in a show, that's how I feel all
Yeah.
the time. I'm
Every
like,
day, all day.
oh, 5 years later, I'm like, oh my gosh, I was so embarrassed that one time.
Right. Laying
I
up in
walked
bed
out
like,
the room.
oh, what did I do?
Yep. That's why we need the oils sometimes. Calm our brains.
Calm down oils.
Yes.
Lavender.
Lavender.
I do like
yes.
the breathe though.
Yeah, breathe is good.
Breathe doTERRA because it
Helps
makes
me
me feel
breathe.
calm.
Yes.
Yes.
Anyway, how was your week?
My
Has
week
it been
was
fun?
really good. It
Yeah.
was really busy. I worked
Yeah.
like every day.
Nice.
Pretty close to that.
Okay.
How was your week?
It was crazy, but then yesterday was a really nice day, and I even got to sing for the PUD party. But then
Your
I
picture was really cute.
oh, thanks. Justin took it. He came at the end and was like, click, click. And I was like, hello. He's so handsome.
That's really sweet.
I know. And then he sent it and was like, I thought you might like that. He's very proud of me all the time.
He should be.
His goal in life is to lift me up. He's so sweet.
He does it well.
He does.
Mm-hmm.
hmm He had to lift me up last night, too, because it was a great day. And then I went outside and took the dogs out to go potty and fell down my back stairs and twisted my ankle up a little
Yeah, your poor
bit.
foot.
So then I... And
/ankle.
like, I can walk on it and stuff. It's not broken. But when an ankle, like, twists and hits, it's the worst
Mhm.
pain.
Mm-hmm.
I was sitting there and I was like, I'm never getting up. Bring me something comfy. I'm sleeping
This is
outside.
where I live now.
Yeah. And he's like, oh, here, I'll help you up. And I'm like, you literally are going to have to, like,
Now
lift me
you'll
up
have to
now.
carry me.
Like,
Yeah.
and then I got up and I was like, okay, I can put a little bit of, I looked like such an idiot walking to the room. I was like friggin' Quasimodo. My back was all hunched as I was like trying not to put pressure on my foot.
Well,
and I
yeah,
was like,
'cause
ah,
At
so
our
mad.
age, we can just sleep
Okay.
weird. Sorry, at
Yeah.
my age.
No. It's at our age because I was going to tell you something to go along with at our
okay.
age.
Tell me to
But
go.
no, you go ahead and finish yours
And,
first.
no, I'm just saying, like, if we sleep weird,
Yeah,
my
Oh,
back
yeah.
is pinched for like
Yeah.
a week
absolutely.
or a month.
Yeah. Well, and I told Justin, because after you've had kids and you get a little older, things happen to a body. And when I
Oh,
slipped
yeah.
down those stairs, I peed a little. And I was
Yep.
like, well, this is fun. I
Mhm.
twisted my ankle and I peed a little.
Yeah.
I was like, I can't get up.
Yeah, the sneeze
Sorry if that was
peas
TMI,
are the
but it
best.
happens.
Oh,
it
no,
just
it
happens.
really does. It really
I know.
just does.
Yeah. I know I'm not the only person to have fallen and peed a little. So
No,
you feel better,
That's
people
very
listening.
normal situation
Yeah.
for someone
So that
that's
was
been
fun.
through a couple pregnancies.
Right? Pregnancies,
And then it
surgeries,
just, as
kids.
you get older, things get
Yeah.
Loser.
Doesn't matter how many kegels you do.
I
Doing them right now. Now that I'm thinking about it.
I actually had a really sweet, that gal I was telling you about, I talked to on the phone.
Yeah.
She's like 76 years old, but she's like, you're so funny on Facebook. And she goes, just, as you get older, like out of nowhere randomly, she goes, as you get older, make sure you do those kegels because I'm staring down the barrel right now. And I was like, what?
Oh my gosh.
That's the best conversation I've ever had.
So I call it what I call the olders, the wise.
The wise.
They're
they
wise.
are indeed.
They're wise.
They know so
they give
much
good
more.
advice.
Mm-hmm.
And they're at a point where they just don't give a rip.
No.
And you're like, oh, I love that you don't put up with crap.
Mm-hmm.
Can I be there now?
Mm-hmm. I'm almost there.
I'm dancing on that line.
I tell you.
I'm hopping back and forth on the daily. Like, do I care? Okay, I probably should care. Maybe once my kids are a little older, I'm going to be like, yep, and now I don't care.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
it.
Like, if I had somebody tells me they don't like me, it's kind of like that TikTok where they're like, "Oh, weird." I don't care.
See, and that's where I'm like, but why not? I'm a perfectly pleasant person. I'm so kind. How could you not love me?
I'm done with it.
Yeah.
I'm done with it. Like me or don't like me, I do not care.
Yep. You just smile and you're like, okie doke.
Yeah.
Wave as you go by.
Bye.
I don't need you in my life, and that's okay.
Yeah.
When I was younger, I had the hardest time because I always wanted to please people.
And I did too.
Right? But then it leaves you in such a place that you're like twitching all the time because you're like, I want to help them, but I also want to say no because I'm tired because I've done so much.
It leaves you empty.
Yep.
It leaves you empty.
Yeah. Justin taught me that it's okay.
You can't do anything with an empty bowl.
No.
For sure.
Justin literally had to teach me how to say no. Like, I could speak the word.
So did Tim.
See?
Yeah.
Husbands.
They're the best.
Spouses.
Seriously.
Yeah. Need them.
My awesome husband won Officer of the Year.
Oh!
And so
Yay.
he got like this whole swag
Remember
bag.
you telling me about that.
Yeah, he got a cool swag bag. Came with like the Yeti cup.
Ooh.
And the
good.
new like Beats by Dre. He gave them to me. I was like, I'll take those. Thank you.
That's awesome.
I was like, yeah.
Those are so good. I think that's the brand Justin uses. I bought him some because, like you, he has a job where he can listen to stuff during the day while he's getting work done.
Well, yeah, and those will hold 12 hours of charge. Like my AirPods that I love.
Well, and you can.
They only hold
calls.
like I think 4 hours. So I'll use them side by side.
Yeah.
I'll use one side and then it goes down after 3 or 4 hours, and then I'll use the other side.
Right.
Because I work all day. So.
Yep. And he can only do one side at a time too for safety reasons. But he also has to take calls. Mm-hmm. So it's good. He can just switch and take a call real quick and then put his podcast back on. And what's he listening to? Definitely Shenanigans
For sure,
with Angel and Becky.
Awesome.
I've heard.
Mm-hmm.
And today, so we have another story from that same timeline kind of that we've been talking in where we talked about John Tornow and Billy Gohl. Before those two stories came about, there was the Black Friday fire of 1903 that happened in that same area in Aberdeen. So we're going to talk about that today because it kind of changed a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Changed a lot, and it helped put new regulations and orders about building codes and all of that into play. But
if you just look at the downtown area of Aberdeen, where we've lived and grown up our entire lives.
Yeah.
And you picture the old pictures in your head. Like I was doing this a couple days ago, and I was just like, that building wasn't there. And then I'm looking at the ones that are still here from that time, and I'm like, okay, this is so interesting. The entire structure of the downtown area has changed. There wasn't, the Chehalis River Bridge wasn't there.
Right.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
So that fire completely changed everything.
Yeah. It sure did. So we're going to take a trip back in time. So picture it. Sicily. No, just kidding. Aberdeen.
I love it.
Aberdeen, 1903. Okay. It's mid-October. The air is crisp. Right?
As it
it's
usually
beautiful
is.
because autumn is a beautiful time.
Oh, it's the best.
It is. Sweatshirts and
Spooky season.
spooky season. Yes, she has on her Hocus Pocus shirt, which we're excited
Shout
for the
out
new
to
movie.
Amanda for buying me this awesome shirt.
Noise. All right. So the sky in Grace Harbor usually has a beautiful hazy hue. So, right? You're surrounded by wonderful evergreen trees. Like, it's a really beautiful area. And back then there were more because it was not as developed as it is now. Yeah. And you're walking on beautiful plank and dirt roads and sidewalks. Right? Oh, but there are trolleys, so that's good. Yes, lots of wood. Sure, there are budding psychos surrounding you.
Yeah,
cough,
NBD.
cough, Billy Goal.
NBD.
Cough, cough, John Tornell, who was driven mad. Sorry, I just spat all over.
What are you
driven mad.
I didn't even notice that.
I thought you did. I was like,
crazy.
Sorry. Let me spit all over as we do this.
I'll take the weather with the news. I'm good.
Right? All right. So anyway, budding psychos, but they don't really know about them yet. Like,
no,
they're still pretty cool.
Yeah,
exactly.
Like any sociopath would.
Yeah. Watching
And
from behind the trees, peering out.
Like Michael Myers.
Right? Just staring out.
Stand beside
no matter how far you run, they're always within your view.
I'm currently hiding.
Becky's hiding behind her tree hand. She's got a hand up to the side of the face. There we go.
Hiding.
Oh. However, this day downtown, the air changes slightly. You've seen that it's turned from a beautiful, hazy, autumny, like gray and a little bit of sunshine to a bunch of black smoke and flames because it's literally on fire. Oh, and fun news. This isn't the first fire that burnt this city to the ground.
This city?
Yeah.
Aberdeen?
Aberdeen burnt down once in 1887 and again in 1889.
That's a short span of time.
Right? So this isn't even the first time. Anybody who had settled there, because it was opened. It opened up like it's a theme park. It was settled in about 1880s. Right. So anybody who had been there from like that 85 maybe time on, if they were still there, this is their third fire. That's all I'm saying. But who knows who had been there that long.
Across the nation, though, I would tell you that happened a lot.
Probably,
because if you think, again, you mentioned wood planking for sidewalks. Every building was built mostly out of wood, sometimes also brick or whatever.
Oh, yeah.
But you'd think these towns would start to get it, right?
Well, eventually they do. But anyway, so here we are again, 1903. And in this area, we had many lumber yards and stuff, right? Lots of construction going on. However, people wanted money. So they put up these buildings quickly and cheaply.
Of course.
So basically, cut corners where they could. And so much that the leftover sawdust, like from all that, they used that to pad the bottom of the planks for the streets and sidewalks. Yes. So
that's a powder keg.
Yes.
Literally.
Right? And so underneath all of the planks was a whole bunch of sawdust. So
wow.
So much that the seamen that came into town, they nicknamed the town Plank Island.
The seamen.
Yeah. Hey. I didn't mention it during your story. You have to wait till the end.
Okay, but how many times do you have to say it?
I only said it once.
I had to say it 5,600
and I was
times.
So mature.
You were super mature.
I saved it all for the end. I did get up in your face and try staring at you.
Like, no,
as you hid your face in your notes, you were like,
anyways, I'm going to read.
Notebook up to the face. Oh, goodness. All right. So the building that this starts in is called the Mac Building. Okay. And that's where the fire starts. According to On the Harbor, the book where I got the information, and that's by John Hughes and
Teague Beckwith.
Is that what it is? Mm-hmm. Okay. That building was made with nearly 500,000 feet of lumber.
Wow.
It was a 3-story giant building. On the bottom floor, it was home to a good-sized brothel, of course.
Of course.
Of course. Old furniture storage. So talk about stuff to burn.
Yeah.
And a small hay warehouse.
Oh, so kindling.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
A hay warehouse.
A hay warehouse.
Let's just put this hay warehouse in this wooden building.
With storage for furniture.
I'm
and then
surprised they didn't have a match company.
Right? It'd be like old cartoons.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, that was the first floor. And then the second and third floors was called the Arctic Hotel.
Okay.
And mostly bachelors stayed there. Like
the boarding
single
house
men.
guys.
Yeah. And I think there was a woman with her kids there too in one of the rooms. So this was what the building was. Super big, tons of rooms on the second and third floor, huge fire hazard on the bottom.
Yeah.
Huge fire hazard. And let's see. Oh, and then fun fact, to cook their food in their little rooms and stuff, they all had little like oil burners.
That makes perfect sense.
Yeah. And as one could imagine, this is also where our story starts. With the fire.
Of course it is.
Yes.
Hot plate.
Because oil stoves. All right. So on that morning around 9 o'clock, there was a man named Charles, I believe it's called Rolfs. Roelfs.
Sounds right. Yeah,
Rolfs. He began making breakfast on his oil stove inside of the Mac building. Okay. Unfortunately, something happens. We heard children. Is everybody okay out there?
I don't have anybody here at my house, so.
Oh, okay. So they're kids from
Unless
other.
it's haunted, it's just.
Well, and
kids.
they can't get in that gate.
Yeah.
Nobody's getting back here.
No one, including the police, could get into that gate.
Right?
It is secure.
Her gate is secure, so don't even think about it.
Don't try it.
Anyway, so good old Charlie Rolfs making breakfast over his oil stove, and it doesn't say what got out of hand, but something in there got out of hand. Oh, and the other thing about Charles, he only has one leg.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So he didn't make it out. He becomes the first casualty because the fire started there and it got up the walls into the ceiling so fast.
Oil.
Yeah. That the other people that were around, and some of them had already head off to work. So the building wasn't full of people, which was great.
That is good.
But it was also like, I don't know how long it took them to get there, but by the time they got to his room, they couldn't get him out. Mm-hmm. Like poor guy, he died in his room.
That's sad.
I know, it was too late. So the fire had already spread and he was the first casualty, right? The fire spread throughout the building and 2 others inside died. Samuel Kirkup. He was a 72-year-old former sailor and a veteran of the Mexican War of the 1840s. So this dude's been around. 72 years old. 72.
Wow.
In 1903. He was like ancient back then.
Yeah. Well,
back then.
Even.
Just kidding. 72-year-olds, you're spry.
Young.
Young at heart is where it belongs. And you're so wise. But that's old. I'm not going to lie. When I'm 72, I'm going to get away with a lot of crap. Because I'm going to be like, dude, I'm 72. Back off.
Right?
I'm an old lady.
I no longer care about anything.
Right? Fart with impunity.
Yes.
Wherever you want.
People look at you, what?
What? 72.
What?
I've been holding it in since the 50s. Let me go. Oh, so he unfortunately burned to death inside a 3rd-story room. There was another man on the 3rd story named Daniel Webster. He was a bartender at Walker's Saloon. He couldn't make it to the fire escape because it was engulfed and trapped, right?
Wow.
And so he ran into the room of David Scotty Campbell. Scotty was like a nickname. And he just leapt from the 3rd story. He just went and jumped out the window, and he died a couple hours later at the Aberdeen General Hospital.
Oh.
Yeah, because he just was like gone. He was 55 years old, a retired sailor, and he had lived there for about 5 years. Massive injuries, died at the hospital. And then another man named Christ Sangren, didn't have much information on him. He also died in the fire. David Campbell, the guy from whose room, the other guy, what was his name? There's too many names. Anyway, Daniel, where he leapt from, he was stuck in there too because that was his room. Okay. And he ended up hanging outside of the window. So he's hanging from the building. And there are about 100 people yelling for him to, like, wait, don't do anything. They went to go get a ladder. And by the time they got to him, he does make it. But I think it was his left hand. Yeah, his left arm and hand were severely burned. Like, the fire was there. Yeah, and he was hanging on.
I'm glad he didn't let go.
Yeah. They got him down, severe burns. So this day that the fire started, Fire Chief Charles Kohler had actually taken a vacation day, and he was painting his house. Okay, so he's up on a ladder painting his house when he looks and he sees smoke just pouring out from downtown. And so he nearly falls off his ladder and is like, okay, I need to get there. And next door to the Mac building is the fire department.
Oh, wow.
So they're very close, which is good, but also bad.
Good because
the fire does get there.
Yeah, fire department.
Yeah,
Bye.
And it takes them a little bit too once they realize what's happening because they have to get the hose. They called it Old Tiger. Yeah, Old Tiger. They had to get it to the base of the river so that they could pump the water.
Were fire hydrants not a thing yet?
Yep.
They weren't.
There were no fire hydrants, so they had to get that hose, throw it into the river so that they could get the water pumping through. Wow. And I'll tell you, all that Mac building needed was that, 5-minute head start, and this fire was out of control.
Sure.
Like there was
oil, again.
Oil, wood, like
sawdust.
Hay. Yep. All of that stuff. And so
don't forget about the match company.
Oh, right, the match company. It was probably there. There were a lot of cigar shops and stuff. I'm sure that they had matches. Yeah. And so this fire, because there was a weird southeast wind pushing. Okay. So this fire started to spread in 3 different directions. This wind came out, poured it into the Mac building, and the fire just leapt. 3 different directions. It just started blazing, catching things as it went. And so even though they finally did get that hose up, it was too late, and they had to try and figure out how to stop it from spreading. Sure. Because at this point, the Mac building, it was done. There was no saving it. And so because of that wind, we were in the restricted district, right, with saloons and brothels, but now it's starting to move into the central business areas. And one of the first buildings up in flames was, unfortunately, the fire department. Wow. So it went there. Chief Kohler, he had to call in additional firefighters from nearby cities. So he called in Kazi, which is Cosmopolis, Hoquiam, and Montesano. My voice to speech says Monty Saint. So Saint Monty had to come in. And even though he called them within 20 minutes of that fire starting, like he was there, he was on it, it was still going to take time for those firefighters to get there. Yeah. So Hoquiam got the message around 9:30, but because the roads were what they were, so you had some plank, most of it was this marshy backwoods. Yeah. They didn't get there. Let's see, it took them a half an hour to get there. And so to put that in relation for today's times, to get to that spot from Hoquiam, if you're an emergency vehicle now, should take less than 10 minutes, right? Sure. You're getting there quick. Yeah. But back then, half an hour because of the marsh. I mean, it's fall. We get a lot of rain. Yeah. So it's marshy. It's backwoods, there's trees, the plank streets, it's chaos. So it took them a half an hour to get there. And it took Montesano, they didn't arrive until 11:45. Because you think about it, what are the ways to get there? That boat and a train. Those are the only ways. And so whatever the holdup was, the papers, they were disputing, or disagreeing. One said it's because they took a slow train, blah, blah, blah. One said it's because they took the harbor ship, and it's they couldn't decide on what made it take so long, but whatever. They didn't
just,
get there.
Sounds
yeah.
like they didn't have their facts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So who knows what took Montesano so long to get there? But even at that point, from Montesano now in an emergency vehicle, at least 10, maybe 15 minutes, depending on how quickly people get out of the way.
Yeah.
But it doesn't take long nowadays with the roads and stuff. So it took a long time then. But it didn't really matter how long it took for the neighboring cities because this fire was unstoppable.
Yeah.
It spread throughout the town. The wind was just blowing it all over the place. Let's see. What do my notes say?
Well, October is a windy month.
Oh, yeah.
Grace Harbor, anyways.
Well, and this wind apparently was unusual for that time, like the way that it was blowing southeasterly or whatever. I don't know much about it, but I just saw it said an unusual wind. I don't know if that was creative writing or if it really was unusual because I didn't look up wind patterns. I'm sorry. I'm not doing that.
What's up with that?
Oh, right. I know. I'm just telling the story. So, from the Mac building, the flames moved north, east, and west.
Wow.
Okay, so it just was like, wee, I'm going everywhere. And these flames danced all up and down. To the firehouse, okay, so it went to the jail, the police department, and they had to release the 5 prisoners that they had there who were in jail waiting for trial, and instead gave them buckets and was like, start getting water and dousing these buildings.
Dang.
Yeah. So 1 minute they're in jail, the next it's like, get out, go get water, the town is burning.
Well, I wouldn't be too worried. They were probably only in there for being drunk anyway.
Right, yeah, waiting trial for that, yeah. Let's see. Oh, okay, so as it made its way downtown, there was a big brick building that they were hoping it would stop at. Because of bricks, yeah, but unfortunately it did not. It took that building down. Inside the building was an attorney, 2 attorneys, J.C. Cross, and he had his whole like law library up there. Ooh. And he was worried about it, so he figured out a way. He like nailed, I can't picture it in my mind, but the book said nailed like cloth to the windows somehow and started sliding them out. Like, I don't know if he made like a little chute or something.
That's what it sounds like.
Yeah. So he just started throwing stuff out so that he could get out of the building and go get it.
That's smart.
I know, right? He was like, dude. And then the other guy, whose name was Ben Sheeks, he just started packing up his suitcase. It says it was full of all his legal documents and all that. Because, you know, they have stuff. Yeah. You know, deeds and documents and wills and all of that. And it said he also grabbed his razor blade.
Because that's important.
Yeah. I was like, well, you know, if you're just grabbing things, throw it in the backpack or the suitcase and get on out. The firefighters were able to save some of the buildings and stop it from spreading the north side of the Heron Street. Street. Okay. Mm-hmm. So they saved a grocery store. They saved a cigar factory and a saloon that was over that way. However, the smoke and water damage to those buildings was thousands of dollars in damage.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, that's pretty bad.
Yeah, but also in stopping the spread from the north side, they saved the north side of Market Street, which was another commercial block, and a lot of people had to relocate there. So they were able to get people over into that area, and just past that area was residential area. Right. So they saved a ton of houses.
Because then you've got First Street, which is, that's where my parents' house is.
Yep. Yeah. And so they saved it from getting over there, which was great. But that still means it had 2 other directions that it was moving in. Let's see. The streets of Heron and Hume were like utter chaos because that's where the main part of the fire was. And it took down jewelry stores. Bankers were throwing stuff. Bankers and jewelers were throwing everything they could into their safes and like abandoning the building.
Yeah. That's a smart way to do it.
Yeah. They just had to just grab everything, throw it in the safe, and get out.
Yeah.
Because the safe is going to be the only thing that's going to survive anyway.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
So they threw all their valuables into that. Let's see. People were running down towards Broadway, with like all their wills and deeds and their important paperwork. Doctors went into convenience stores and grabbed as much medical supplies and aid as they could to start treating people with injuries.
Wow.
Yeah, right? Oh, the butcher shop, because there was a butcher shop, and back then they used to keep their animals in pens.
Yeah.
This one butcher shop had to release all their chickens. So in the midst of this chaos where people are trying to save as much as they can and get out of the way, you have chickens running around everywhere. People started grabbing their horses and hitching them to wagons and just like stomping.
Yeah.
What's the word? Trampling. That's what it was. I was going to say tromping.
Oh.
It's the whole, my brain is going faster than my mouth thing.
I thought you were trying to say trotting.
See, and that's another one. I was trying to say, what was I trying? Trampling, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Down the streets. And so that was what a lot of the injuries were from too. Some of it was from the fire, but some of it was people getting like run over by horses.
Yeah, because everybody freaks out and there's just...
It's chaos. There's chickens and horses and fire and people just everywhere.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. It was, oh my gosh. I'm like picturing it in my mind.
It is
chaos.
Too.
It is chaos.
It's chaos down here, Tom.
Oh, yeah. Right. Exactly. And let me remind you that in moments of chaos like this, there are those in every community who take the opportunity to be complete and utter a-holes.
Oh, yeah, always.
Okay, so what happens? People started robbing the liquor stores.
Yep.
Looters. Yep, they just started getting in there. No one could protect themselves. People were trying to get out, and people were like, well, I'm going to go take that liquor because it's just going to get ruined anyway, so let me steal everything. So they started doing that. Another group of a different kind of a-hole, there was a hotel downtown, and Mr. Bob Lowry stood outside as the fire drew near, and there were men standing there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he asked them, like, hey, please help me save this building, because they wanted to like douse it with water so that the fire would stop.
Right.
And the guys were like, yeah, pay us $20.
No.
And other guys were like, well, we'll take 10. And
just do it for free.
Right? And he was like, yeah, I'll do it. Just help me. And they're like, well, we want it up front.
There's an active fire.
So, as you can gather from my friggin' look of frustration and disappointment, they all stood by and watched as that building burnt to the ground.
That's
they didn't
horrible.
help him. Yeah.
That's
right?
horrible.
Terrible people. So I have it on here, a-holes.
Yeah.
They watched it go up in smoke.
What a bunch of jerks.
Right? So there were two big financial institutions here too. The Aberdeen State Bank and Hayes and Hayes Bank. They both burnt down. They tried to get as much into their safes as they could too and got out because, that's just cash money.
Yeah.
Goes up in smoke. So they put as much as they could. It burnt up City Hall and Central School. And that was at least over $20,000 in damages. And that's over $500,000 today. Yeah. It took out insurance offices, groceries, because even though we were able to save some, there were still others, located. And so grocery stores, cigar stores, candy stores, there was an art company. So it took out all of that. And luckily, though, this was such a widespread fire, I can talk, but the human toll was actually quite low because the ones that we spoke of earlier, those were in the Arctic Hotel, those were the deaths.
That's it, huh?
Yeah, and there were some injuries due to, the horse.
I was expecting there to be quite a bit more.
No, luckily,
Interesting.
it was more damaging
maybe because of the
financially.
time of day.
Yes, and that's what it said.
Yeah.
The time of day. People were at work.
Mm-hmm.
People weren't sleeping. It was in the morning. Everybody was awake and alert, so they were able to get out of the way. Had it been the middle of the night, this would be a much different story. Yeah. So we're about to run into someone that we've talked about recently too, because like I said, this is the same time. So firefighters, they were getting people out of buildings, but unfortunately what happens when structure to a building is what's the word I'm looking for? Compromised. I almost said contaminated. I'm here. Compromised.
You got it.
Walls fall over.
Yeah.
So that was a big thing inside. Chief Kohler had a wall fall on him.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was bad, but he recovered same day. Like, he went and,
Okay.
they gave him the
Bruises.
Pedialyte
Yeah.
and wrapped a boo-boo and
Totally
said, get back
Pedialyte.
out there.
Yeah.
I don't know what they had back then. Probably just water.
A mint.
Maybe a little whiskey.
Have some alcohol about it.
Yep. There's a little whiskey to get you back on your feet, Chief.
Whiskey.
Of course, that's speculation. Who knows? I'm sure they didn't, but I can
Oh, no,
say
they
it
totally
if I-
did.
Yeah. Have some cocaine.
Yeah.
Wasn't that about the time?
Yes. Just have some cocaine about
There
it.
you go.
It'll be fine.
There you go. Now you're ready. But another name of someone who was inside a building was 25-year-old Colin McKenzie. Do you remember him?
You're going to have to tell me
Okay,
more.
I'm going to give you a hint. About 9 years later, he becomes a sheriff deputy and runs into the woods to try and find a Mr. John Tornow.
Was he the one that killed John Tornow?
Yeah, nope, he's the one who got killed by maybe John Tornow or maybe poachers. Yep.
Okay, I'm with you.
He was
Sorry.
one of the bodies that was in a tea.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. So
my goodness.
Right? So before that whole bit, he was in this building and got hit and almost broke his whole back. Like, he was in the hospital.
I kind of feel really super bad for him.
Right? Yeah. So there he is. And there was another guy alongside him, J.D. Hansen, who had minor injuries from the wall.
Mm-hmm.
But Mackenzie's were more serious because he had like a whole big 2x4 type deal fall on him.
Ooh.
So yeah. Woo. But anyway, yes, so he was there. We've heard of him. When I saw the name, I was like, wait, the same guy?
Yeah.
I remember
Sorry
him.
that took me so long. I'm like,
well,
I don't
it's
remember.
been a while.
Yeah.
It's been a while since we've done that one. And I got to confirm it before I came, so. There'll be other ones that pop up and I'll be like, what was that? Because I forget things too. All right. And we already talked about some injury were fire related, some were horse related. Heron Street was the street that was most hit. Center of the business district, home to like all the major stores.
Because wasn't the Mac building on Heron Street?
Mhm.
Okay, so
Yep.
that makes sense.
So yeah. It had doctor's offices, barbers, hotels, restaurants, the banks we had talked about, smaller businesses. Like, there was a lot.
And still today.
Yeah.
That is the
It's
main
very
hub
condensed.
of downtown Aberdeen. Yeah.
Yep. And the
Mhm.
fire was aided by the fact that they did not have good fire codes. Even after all the fires that they previously had, they had no good fire codes. So if a building had a little bit of space in between, that was rare because most of them all shared walls.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it wasn't hard to go from one building to the next because they all had shared walls or tiny spaces where the flames could easily just jump on over. I'm picturing like those old cartoons where they bring the flames to life.
Yes!
And he's just dancing around like with his hands, and then he jumps onto a building and suddenly the building is on fire.
I'm seeing the exact cartoon
like those
in my
old
head that you're
cartoons.
seeing. Yes.
So you're like, oh look kids, fire is fun.
It's not.
It is not.
Not
No,
fun.
it is dangerous and
Dangerous.
destructive.
And destructive.
Come on.
Both of the things.
Right?
Yeah.
Come on. All right, so now the fire has made its way down towards Aberdeen General Hospital.
Okay.
This is on the corner of Broadway and Heron.
Okay.
So it's made
There
it.
was a hospital on the corner of Broadway and Heron.
Yes, it was called the
Interesting.
Aberdeen General Hospital. It was the biggest hospital. There was also a smaller one. It went up in flames.
Okay.
But the bigger one is the one where people were being treated and where people were going.
Is that the furniture store? The one that's the furniture store now?
I wonder. We'll have to look because I don't know. It could
Because
be.
did it survive this fire?
It
Sorry
did.
to skip ahead.
No, you're fine.
I think I know what it is then.
Oh.
Because it's the furniture store that's not open anymore. They just
Oh,
closed.
the one. Okay.
Because the lady that I've talked to her a couple
Yeah.
of times, and she worked there, she said that it was originally a hospital.
There it is.
Interesting. And
Yep.
it makes sense because there's like, what, 4 or 5
Yeah,
floors? Something
it's
like
tall.
that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Ooh.
nice.
I figured it out.
You did it. Gold stars.
Solved it.
I love it. Snaps for Becky. Because snaps are quieter than
Yeah, they are.
me clapping into the microphone
Oh,
like
gosh,
a friggin'
yeah.
seal.
People will be like,
Oh,
what?
oh.
Oh,
Shut it up, Angel. Okay, I'll cry later.
don't cry.
No, nobody tells me to shut up. People love me.
Nobody puts baby in the corner.
People are going to be like, who is this girl? I don't like
Nuh-uh.
her.
Not true.
No. I gave Becky a very fun smile. All right, so here we are, corner of Broadway and Heron, which is now a closed furniture store. 1903, Aberdeen General Hospital, which also sounds like
it makes sense.
Why can't I think of words today? I came here and I was like, Becky,
soap opera?
Everything's wrong with me. Yes. Soap opera.
General Hospital.
Aberdeen General Hospital.
I got you.
Yep. So, people started, they took the hose up to the top and they're spraying it. Like, if this building goes, there are a lot of people in there. The casualties are actually going to rise, right? At the hospital. Right. And so people are dumping buckets. It would be devastating if they lost this because they did just lose a smaller hospital that they were building. Like they were building a new one and now it's gone. So hundreds of people gathered around, the non-a-holes of it all, gathered around to actually save a building. Maybe even some of the a-holes were like, well, I guess we should save the hospital. Bro. That's how I picture
the bro dudes.
Yeah, the bro dudes. So there was a man named Dr. Smits, and he had an office and a drugstore downtown.
Okay.
And it had already been destroyed.
Oh.
But, okay, and I don't know if this was like common practice, but he had buried a stash of dynamite in front of the hospital. Like, when I read that, I was like, what? So I know that it was practiced sometimes to stop a fire by blowing up a building, right?
Okay.
So I don't know why he would have it. So anyway, Dr. Smith digs up his dynamite that he buried in front of the hospital. And he approached a man named John Young, who I guess lived across the street.
Okay.
Okay, and his house was secluded. And he approached him and he gave him a choice. And this is how I imagine it happening. Listen here, son.
I was literally thinking that voice in my head.
Listen here, son. This fire is moving and it's moving fast.
It's coming
spreading
quick,
like hotcakes. Right? Spreading like hotcakes. You have two options. All right? You can either blow up your house and save the hospital, or you can watch them both go down in flames. It's up to you. What do you say?
Exactly how it happened. And he was wearing a hat.
Right? He was.
Yes.
He was wearing a hat. Yep. And the other guy's got suspenders.
And they were both going like this at the same time with the shoulders.
And there was ragtime music playing on the piano. Yep. That's how I see it.
That's how
it was.
Yep.
So anyway, Mr. Young, being the upstanding citizen that he is, decides, yes, I'm going to blow up my house to save the hospital.
Wow.
And he did. They blew up his house.
And it actually worked.
Yeah. The hospital was saved, and around 2 p.m., the big fire had stopped.
Okay.
You know, there's still all these little fires all around, but they had stopped the spread of the big fire.
Okay.
Yes. And so this is where we take a look at the damage. So there were 7 city blocks that were burnt up. 140 buildings were taken down. The damage was estimated at $1 million, but the exact figure, I guess, turned out to be 600,000, which today would be 10 million, more than 10 million.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a lot. And, so 600,000 was the cost of the damage. Mm-hmm. All the buildings combined were insured for 188,000.
No.
Yes.
No.
Like less than a third of what the actual cost was.
Oh.
They did not put a lot of insurance on their buildings. So about 300 people have been left homeless by this fire.
Sure.
But the great thing about the city is, even though we talked about the jerks, there were a higher number of good citizens.
Right.
Because, let's see, who was the first one that we talked about? Those fortunate enough to help, they started helping. There was a commercial bakery managed by Bill Murphy, and he handed out foods to hundreds. So if they came there, he gave them food.
Not Bill's XO Donuts.
I don't know. There used to be a Bill's XL Donuts because that was a bakery. I did work there. Yeah, a long time ago when Peyton was a baby.
Closer to Hoquiam, but still.
Yep, it is.
Still.
Yep, so that's one of them. Could be Bill's XL.
I wonder.
Now we'll have to look.
Now we gotta know.
There was a man named Charles Vasey. He had a clothing and a grocery store.
Okay.
And so people who came to him, he gave them, it was on the northern side of Heron. So remember that north side got saved.
Right, okay.
So his stuff was all saved. So the fire didn't reach there. So he gave free groceries to people. Just
what a neat
I know,
fella.
right? Let's see. The ladies of the Women's Christians Temperance Union served coffee and sandwiches and set up a soup kitchen.
Oh, I love
Right?
that.
The YMCA planned a meeting at 8 p.m. To find places for the homeless to stay. And there was a smaller hospital called St. Joseph Hospital that had free beds. So they opened that up.
Is that St. Joe's?
I think so.
Because that,
Mhm.
I'd love to know the year that I worked
I know.
there for
Oh,
a hot
okay.
minute, volunteering
Yeah,
as a
yeah.
teenager, but
That's
still,
nice.
that's an old
That's one of our
hospital.
smaller hospital
Mhm.
buildings that we have. It's a lot
Real
of doctors'
neat.
offices and rehab facility and
Uh-huh.
stuff now. It might be the
It's
same
a
one.
really neat
Yeah.
old building.
Yep. So, and then everybody in town who had, like, you know, sometimes you'd have spare bedrooms
Mhm.
and sometimes even like an extra kitchen, you know,
Okay.
if you were more fortunate.
Right.
They got beds and dressers and turned those into rooms and opened up their houses for people to board in.
That's
And then some of them just
nice.
kept doing it, like, even well after
right,
was
because
like,
you
hey.
read in the
Mhm.
stories that we've already talked about that a lot of times
Yeah.
that was very commonplace.
Yep, absolutely. And so Aberdeen did step up in a big way that day, you know, like seeing the damage, how devastating it was.
Good.
The governor at the time was Henry McBride, and he arranged for 100 state militia tents to be sent from Olympia for all
Okay.
the businesses so they could set up.
Nice.
Yeah, so even, you know, whatever was left of their inventory or whatever, they could set back up so they could use those. So even though they lost a lot, hopefully they could still make something.
Mm-hmm.
And the Aberdeen mayor at the time, you're going to recognize this name. You probably already know it.
I think I do. AJ West?
AJ West.
Because I was thinking the year. Yeah.
Yep, AJ West, which is one of our schools. AJ West.
Love AJ West.
He received telegrams from cities like San Francisco, Portland, Olympia, Seattle offering aid, but he replied, "We can take care of our own."
What do you know?
Yep.
Huh.
And so he didn't get help from them. They decided to do it all within the town. I don't know. For me, I'm like, yeah,
I'll take all the
send
help I
some
can
help.
get.
But
Yeah,
maybe he didn't want to be in debt. Maybe he thought if he got help, it might cost the
sure.
city. I don't know. I would have been like, hey, if there's no strings attached, come help us rebuild. That'd be great.
Yeah.
But, you know, different times. I don't know what their thoughts were or the process or whatever.
Right.
So another funny thing. Let's all take a sip of our waters.
No.
Stay hydrated. Their police force was like 6 people.
Of course.
Of course. And so that day they swore in 20 more.
Good.
Yeah, because they had to have patrols through the night.
Right.
Because the bank's safes still had, like, let's see, I think it said 30,000 was still left in the Aberdeen State Bank. So, like,
Wow.
they needed people out there because the jerks again came back out at night to loot and to steal.
Of course.
And,
they did.
right? Like, just come on. And so they actually ended up arresting a dozen men, but it doesn't say where they put them. Because remember, the jail burnt down. Maybe they were able to save part of it because they had the guys come out. I know that part of it burnt. So I'm just like, I don't know where they put these guys that they arrested, but they arrested 12 men. And I was like, all right, where'd they go? Right. So now they're planning to rebuild because this is like the 3rd time now that they've had to rebuild. The first 2 did not go well. So now they have new terms and new building codes because...
Probably a good idea.
Right? Like, once it burnt down, oh shoot, we should change things.
Yeah.
Nope. 2 years later, burns down again. Oh darn, they didn't change a thing. 1903 burns down again. Oh, maybe we should change something.
Yeah, maybe the things that we're doing now aren't working very well.
Yep. So they were told, let's see. Yes, they had to be further apart, you know, a little bit further apart. They couldn't use new wood frame buildings, or they had to use new wood frame buildings, and they even extended it blocks past where the fire was.
Okay.
Like, we're gonna do new construction. We're going to make it a little further. We're gonna make it a little safer so that everything isn't like right on top of each other. Let's see. They expanded the control that the city has over the temporary buildings. And they called in a new building inspector. Stupid voice to text. A building, expect her. A building inspector.
The building is going to expect you.
Right?
You must be on time.
Right? Gosh. So I was like dictating into my notes as I was making notes. And so now I went through them, but there's still a couple parts that I'm like, what was I saying here? What is wrong with you? Notes?
Because my dictation, it's gotten so bad that it just comes all out gibberish. So I don't even bother with it anymore.
Come on.
It's ridiculous.
Well, I was like, I don't want to type everything in. I'm just going to talk.
No,
and then
I
I
look
look
and
I'm like,
so
what?
much easier.
Right?
Except for then
you
building
get the building
is expecting her.
Oh.
Get it together, Apple.
Right? So this fire, as devastating as it was also looked at as a new opportunity to do things the right way and in a more modern way, to have things properly zoned.
I should hope so.
You know, like with better fire protection, so that the city could actually grow in a healthy way. So it was devastating and it was horrible. However, it did bring about new regulations, new zones, and it made it so that they could make a safer, healthier city. So, I mean, that's
the way it was built. It was basically a powder keg just waiting to happen.
Yeah.
There
was a little trail, you light a match, the whole downtown
it
goes
wasn't
up.
It wasn't if, it was when.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So that wasn't the last fire that this area has seen either, like that was pretty devastating. So that one was really big. October that same year, October 27th, 1903, just 11 days past, one of the few buildings that was still left burnt to the ground. So who knows why. July 29th, 1908, this was 5 years later, a fire wiped out 9 buildings and caused $75,000 in damage. And the fire chief was charged as being incompetent, but then he was cleared. So
they do that a lot with these guys back then. They're like, oh, you're obviously incompetent. Right. Never mind.
Just kidding.
Sorry. You're fine.
Opposite day. All right. But then we skip ahead to July 3rd, 1949. And there was a building in Aberdeen called the Lafayette Hotel. And it unfortunately takes the lives of 7 people. And it was started from either a cigarette or a cigar in the lobby of the building. And that was the deadliest fire that Aberdeen had seen in that point. Because that was more just a couple years later, really. January 30th, I guess in 1951, that was like a year and a half later. There was a senior citizen center called McClary Convalescence in Hoquiam. And they died. There was a fire there. It was the deadliest fire. Yeah, elderly people.
That's really
old person home. Yeah, and it was the deadliest fire. And I was trying to see how many citizens there were, but my dictation
It said 2121.
2121. Is that book around here? I know. I remember where it was in there. It's probably behind our new soundboard.
Yeah, we got a fancy new soundboard.
Oh, I got it. So bear with me for a second because I want to correct
Yeah, we want to give you guys the right number there
because it says 20.
I wonder if 21 people.
Oh, probably. So let me just open to my book here. Thank you for bearing with me. Okay, 21.
Yep.
21 senior citizens.
21 is the answer.
21. I don't know why it put 21 on there twice, but it did. I don't know why I keep talking like this, but I do. Because that's who we are.
Yes, it is.
So anyway, yes, 21 senior citizens died in that home, and that left.
Bad.
I know, and that was Hoquiam's deadliest fire there on the harbor, and that led to new safety regulations in the elderly homes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's good, but those are the people we're supposed to protect is, the elderly.
Yeah.
The kids, the elderly, the widows and such. So they should have been thought of first, but, I wasn't there. I don't know.
And different if we were there.
Yeah, it would.
Just saying.
Yeah. knowing what we know. Because listen, we saw this fire way ahead of you. Fix it. Oh, goodness. All right, and then July 1st, 1967, more than $200,000 in damage is done at a massive fire. I'm going to open the book again because dictation done me wrong. East-West Coast Street? That doesn't make sense. Wishkah. I bet it was East Wishkah Street.
Yeah.
Oh, man. I have to double check. I double checked most of it, and then I was like, oh, yeah, and then the rest should be fine. Right? Yeah, East Wishkah Street. So this one was weird. So 24 propane tanks explode at a gas company.
I wonder if it was because it was too hot or something.
I have no idea, but nobody died.
Or if that's a thing.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Nobody died. It's so weird. But yeah, so that's the fire history here on the harbor, starting with starting with the Black Friday fire of 1903, even though there were 2 fires previous to that. But if you want to know more about it, you should definitely get the book here on the harbor. John C. Hughes and Ryan T. Beckwith.
I forgot his first name.
I know. That's okay. Well, we got it now.
We got it.
Get this book on the harbor. There are multiple authors inside. Like, we read from this when we talked about Billy Gohl and Tornow and all that. So we had, like, Bill Lindstrom and all of that good stuff. But if you want to know a more in-depth, like if you're someone who's like, I need to map it out on my own, I just gave some streets and where it was going. I didn't go into the starting on here and down to Hume and on like that's no. I just wanted to tell you the story.
Yeah, and you told it really well.
Well, thanks.
You're welcome.
It's a far.
That was a fun story, actually.
That's oh my gosh! I kept reading it. I was like, are you kidding me? You lined the streets with sawdust?
You know the fire that I remember as like a kid was, I think it was the Finch building. Do you remember that?
I don't remember the Finch. I remember I was going to the high school when the high school burnt down. One of the buildings burnt down. Right. I don't remember the Finch building as much. Yes, I do.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I want to say that was 95 or 96.
I was still kind of young, but I remembered because we were close in age.
Enormous, yeah.
Yeah.
That was an enormous building.
Yeah, I remember being able to see flames, but I was like 12 or something, 11.
Yeah.
And so I could see, but it wasn't like, I was like, oh no.
I walked down there.
See, I was not that close to it. I was a feral
child.
You were like, ha 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 ha.
I know we drove past.
No, but I went to the high school when that building had burnt down.
And that was arson.
I think, was it arson by stupidity? I don't remember. Yeah. Sorry if you're someone who was involved in that.
Unfortunately, it's just what it is, though.
Yeah.
It was a foolish thing to do.
Yeah,
and
exactly. A whole building burned. Yeah.
Yep, it was gone.
Oh, yeah. I can't remember what building it was now.
It's the middle one. So what was the front one was Weatherwax, right?
Weatherwax.
Or no, maybe it was the Weatherwax.
Was it? I think it was the Weatherwax.
Because it's the older building.
Yeah.
The original.
The
original 3 or whatever it was.
Yep, that's the fire that I remember the most growing up. Because that was the biggest one in my life.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure.
But fires are
scary.
Yeah. And they're crazy.
Yeah.
And they ruin lives. Gotta be careful.
I remember being really scared of fire growing up in our house because I was on like the 3rd floor, and I've told you that that's a 1914 house, so we're talking about all old hardwoods.
Yeah.
The entire
Probably
house.
had sawdust underneath.
Probably. That's how they insulated it.
Screw these new regulations. Put the sawdust down.
So we had one of those fire safety ladders in our room under my bed. One of those ones you put on the window.
Yeah.
And it rolls down just in case there's a fire.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's good. You need those.
Because you never know.
Well, exactly. Gotta have a plan.
Yep.
Leaping out.
That does not work.
No.
Especially not from a 3rd story.
No. Could you imagine being in that situation?
That'd be terrifying.
Yeah. That makes me sad.
Yeah, same.
Talk about non-sad things. I know, right? How are you going to get... I know.
We should talk about what story we're going to do next.
Yeah, we're gonna do Green River, right?
Do you want me to take the lead on that, or can we do it together?
Let's do it together.
Because I kind of think it would be fun to come together now.
Yeah,
and do
let's
it.
both research it and
Okay.
then come together and see how it goes. That'll be fun. It's gonna be a good one. Green River is a good one. Oh, and you were reading about an old one that happened on the harbor. So we have a couple coming up, and then of course we have our haunted hotel coming up and our haunted trail coming up.
Yes.
So we'll be doing those in August.
Yes.
Yes. So in August we'll have those ones. Dates are TBD. Yep. It's hard to plan too far in advance because there's always stuff going on.
Yeah, when you have kids, you can't.
It's like, yeah, we can do it that day. Oh, just kidding. Now we have a tournament, right? Oh, just kidding. Work schedule changed.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll have some haunted stuff coming up. We focused a lot on some older serial killers or mystery killers, and now we're going to have an actual serial killer from a little closer to our time. And then, and then we'll have an older one again on the harbor. Because this one, the Green River, we're going to venture off the harbor a little bit. Still in the Pacific Northwest, but a little further from the harbor. And then we'll have some excursions that are going to be fun.
I'm so excited.
Maybe we'll meet a ghost.
Or I could just see us on the trail running down there being like, "What's up, guys? Come talk to us."
Or we're going to be like, "Did you hear that?"
Every little twig
everything. Justin's going to cough and we'll be like, "Would you hear that?
It's gonna
I think the ghost is sick."
Totally Blair Witch style.
Yep. So scared right now. Yeah, it's going to be like that. Because we're ridiculous humans. Or as my daughter would say, human.
It's going to be fun to watch, though. We're very entertaining.
Yeah. Yeah, that one will have videos, so we will talk about it. But we also want to do videos because we want you to be able to see everything.
Yeah.
So you'll definitely want to check out like our Facebook and TikTok. So that we can upload those because they'll be short ones. We'll just do short little updates and everything. Maybe put them together. Take some pictures, see if we can find a ghost in the pictures. That's what you gotta do, right?
It's right there. It's a little white fuzzy
We'll do the outline, and then people will be like, "I don't see it." I'll be like, "Well, you really have to squint to see it."
I mean, it's kind of one of those, is it a gold dress? Is it a black dress?
Right?
Situation.
Whenever I see people are like, "Oh my gosh, did you see that ghost in that photo?" I'm like, "Where?" And then they highlight it, and I'm like, "What? It doesn't look like a ghost." And then they're like, "Oh, here, let me highlight it more." Like, you just drew a face on it.
You literally just,
Like, I don't see it. I don't. But who knows? It's fun.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I'm really excited because we're going to get out and get exercise and look
at
ghosts.
And I was like, hey, ankle, we got work to do, so
oh, gosh, yeah.
Stop it. It'll be fine. I just, I don't turn it a certain way because it hurts.
Yeah.
Just get a little rest, get a little walking.
Yeah, a decent pair of hiking boots and a good brace.
Yep.
You think you'll be all right?
Oh, I'll be fine. Yeah, because we're still weeks away from it anyway.
True.
It'll be good. And if my ankle doesn't like it, I'll just cut it off. Get a little peg leg. Here we go. No, not a good idea?
No.
Becky's saying that's not a good idea, and she's probably right.
Not a good idea.
It's not a good idea.
Not a fun time.
I just did a lizard face.
I like that.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah.
What
the? I do not know.
See,
what that
it's already starting. We just heard a noise, and now we've been talking about ghosts. It's nothing.
No, I'm sure it was just a bird that flew to its death.
Oh, fiery death.
Fiery death.
Becky's bird always
should die a fiery death.
Even if it doesn't, it did. Because remember, Becky does not like birds, and that's okay. If you like birds, that's fine. We can still be friends.
That's also fine.
She can hate birds, you can like birds, and we can all get along.
Sure.
We get along, and I like birds, see? Boom. But I don't mind telling you they died a fiery death either.
Which I appreciate.
Yeah, exactly. But when I see a cute dancing bird, I'm bobbing my head along with that bird. Because they're dancing to music.
Okay, but from a distance.
Oh, yeah, no, it's in videos.
That's fine. I don't
One
mind
time-
bobbing my head.
I was out at Friends Landing, and they have a nice little walk, and it's by the water, and there was a heron out there.
Those are cool.
birds are huge.
Those birds are cool.
Yeah.
Though.
We all just stood there and were like making eye contact with it because I had my kids with me, and I'm like, don't move, that bird is ginormous.
It's like a dinosaur.
Yep. But we were like, okay, maybe one tiny step closer so I can get a picture. And then when it flew away, we were like, ooh.
Yeah, because when they fly away, they're like,
Yeah.
whoosh.
Yeah, it's
Whoosh.
majestic. I
They're
loved it.
cool.
They're really cool birds.
Yeah.
But that kind of bird is okay.
Yeah, I
It's a
don't mind the
giant-
big ones.
Mhm.
I don't mind the big
Mhm.
ones. It's the little ones that freak me out. They get all
Because
up in
they
your
got a
face.
complex. They're like, look, I can fly this close to you without hitting you.
It is not okay.
Look at me dive
Have
bomb.
a plan.
Look at me. Whee!
No.
Here I go. Hey, guess what? I can make it
Whee!
front of your car before you hit me.
Mm.
And then they go, phew,
I
and you're
always
like, dude.
speed up when they do.
You see a crow on the road and you're like, they always get away
Try me.
though. Dude,
Yeah.
one
I've never hit
time
a bird
Justin
before,
and I were having a picnic at Morrison and we had fried chicken. And seagulls,
Oh God, they're the worst.
seagulls are like the rats of the sky.
They
because
are.
they came for those bones and they
Yep.
attacked each other for those bones.
Yes.
And I was like, you are nasty.
Yeah,
Nasty
and they
birds.
do not have a personal
Cartoons
space
make them
issue.
look cute. They're not cute.
No,
We have so many seagulls and they are not cute.
dude.
I do like scuttles though.
My mom had a pet seagull.
Oh.
Yeah, it was super gross.
Oh.
She wanted to save all birds and stuff when we were growing up, and so this one, somebody shot it with a BB gun in its leg,
Oh.
and she rehabbed it, like back to where she could set it free, and she did.
Aw.
It was nice of her, but I'm like, you can keep that one outside.
But it's just a seagull.
yeah, it's like literally just a seagull, mom. Gross.
I want to do psychology about your birds and your mother and the correlation, but I won't. But maybe I will. Let me dig into your brain.
Hypnosis.
I'll get
style.
it. No way. Nobody is ever getting into my brain.
That'd be
Hypnosis wouldn't work on me because they'd be like, relax. And I'm like, why? Iron wall. What do you want? Get back.
yeah,
to
that's
go
a
in
good
there.
point. Because like, what are you doing in there?
Yeah.
What do you want to do in there?
What if they go in there, they say something stupid, and then I come out thinking something's wrong? They tell me the earth is
I
flat.
never thought of that.
I don't trust them in there. I
never
don't know
thought
them.
of that. Because I always thought, oh, hypnosis would be cool, but now I do not.
No, they're going to get in there and they're going to be like, you're afraid of water. And then it's going to be
That
like
would be
rabies.
sad.
And then I'll
I
die.
love the water. Nope, no hypnosis for me.
Mm-mm.
Changed my mind, guys.
Don't trust them.
Changed my mind.
No thanks. I'll talk to a psychologist or a psychiatrist.
Yeah.
But they can, they got the words and the power.
That's true. They can get out
Yeah.
the stuff you don't want in there
Yeah.
anymore.
I'll go to them. I don't want anybody to take over my brain.
No.
It's wrong.
Then nobody
Witches.
pod people.
What if they get me to rob a bank?
They could too.
See?
Because they
Right
just feel like, you'll be
combination.
super cool if you do it.
On the count of 3, say I'm really cool when I rob banks and wake up and go rob that bank.
I'm so cool when I rob banks. Bye.
And then you walk out with bags with money signs and you're like, I don't know what happened.
Just, I don't know.
See, I blacked out. Sure you did.
Mhm.
Jail. Prison.
Bye. That's what would happen.
That is what would happen if I went to a hypnotist. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the word.
Not for me.
No.
It might work for
I-
some people, but
I've had my
I say
mind
no thank you.
changed.
Yeah. Because I hypnotized you too.
That's exactly what happened.
Right? That's
Yeah.
exactly how it went down.
Nope.
I'm so good at it.
Yeah, you are.
See, that's why you can't trust people.
Obvi.
You can trust some people. You can trust me.
Very few.
Handful.
That's it.
Just a handful. Clench your fist, and that's how many you get.
It's not a lot.
Yeah. Other people you can trust with arm's length.
Yeah.
Over there.
Or like maybe a broom's length, like just 6 feet.
Oh. Yeah.
You know, just stay over there.
What is it in Mr. Grinch? 29 and 1/2 foot pole.
I think
Is
so.
39,
Something
29? Yeah.
39 and a half foot pole.
I know. Now that I started thinking it, I was like,
Crap.
what is it?
It's like when you say
99 and
when
1/2
you
foot. That's what I'm going
say
with.
a word too many times.
Oh
and it
my
becomes a different
gosh.
word. I do that all the time.
I did that the other day. And I had to text Justin. I was like, is this how you spell this word? What does this word even mean? Like, my brain was just done. And it was only 4 letters. I can't remember what word it was. But I was like, am I saying this right? Maybe it was like luck or something. I don't know. I was like, is it luck? Luck. Is it Luck? What is this word? Luck or home or something. And I was just like, I'm done. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. Done.
Yeah.
Anyway, thank you for listening to us today.
Thank you for hanging out with us.
Yeah. Hope you enjoyed a little bit of history on fire and, how to start one if you would like. Just
pretty
pack
easy.
some
You
planks,
just need a whole bunch of hay and sawdust and a match company.
Next to the Acme company.
And maybe like a brothel.
Yeah, brothel.
Mm-hmm.
What would they have in there that was flammable?
All the tooling for the skirts.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah, because they had, what are those called? Petticoats. Yep. The petticoats.
Petite coats.
Petticoats. Petticoats. What? I got it right. Petticoats.
Yeah, that's right.
Petticoats.
We're on the same page.
We're on the same page.
Frog protection.
Frog protection. Yeah. Mouth. Anyway. Don't start fires.
No.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Don't do it. Just stop.
But do listen to Shenanigans with Angel and Becky.
Yeah, why wouldn't you?
Because we tell cool stories.
Yeah.
And we're weird. In a cool way, though. Don't go to a hypnotist.
Nope.
They'll mess with your brain.
Don't do that.
If you're a hypnotist, that's okay. You can still do what you do, boo.
With consent.
With consent. But you'll never get inside of this steel trap.
Not in that one.
Nope. Sorry. It's
maybe,
closed.
Maybe in this one, maybe not.
Becky's on the fence.
I'm on that. I mean,
She's
I don't
like,
want to
maybe.
do it, but I want to do it.
Okay, if you go, I get to be there and I get to record.
You're going to say something, though. You're going to be like, go rob banks. Go rob the banks.
I'm going to be like, tweet, tweet.
That's so mean.
Oh, man. No, we'll make it so you love little birdie.
Oh, you're no longer afraid of small birds.
Get you a bird like on Dumb and Dumber. I thought he was a quiet bird.
His head on.
So morbid. I thought he was a quiet bird. The movie's so dumb.
So sad.
I know. I remember watching it the first time. I was like, oh no! Why would you do this?
I was like, what?
Right?
What?
Not today. See what happens with hypnotism? You think birds are alive.
Yes.
Oh wait, no, that kid was blindness.
Yeah.
Not real, though.
No.
Not real's blind. Okay, follow us on things. I know, right? Always just hitting every road on our way out.
Yeah.
Because we're like, how do we say bye to everybody?
We're
like,
working
okay,
on
bye.
it. Like and share.
Oh yeah, that's the thing. Oh yes, remember to follow, like, and share. Hit that notification bell. Wait, no, I think that's something. No, that's
YouTube.
No, that's on Spotify too.
Oh yeah,
right.
You are right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that
Hit
you
the
can be
notification.
notified when we have new episodes, and they are weekly. I don't know why I'm talking like this, because I
enjoy it.
Yeah, because it's Lipschitz from Rugrats.
Lipschitz.
You remember Dr. Lipschitz on Rugrats?
Yes, I do.
And he had that German accent.
I love Rugrats.
Me too. Now my kids do, because we've been watching episodes and they love it.
I didn't even know you could still watch it.
On Hulu, I believe. Yeah. Yeah.
I love that show.
Yeah, me too. But yeah, we are on TikTok and Facebook. Should probably update that. Last couple weeks have been crazy. Haven't been on top of it. We'll try to be better.
We will.
As we go along. Life gets out of control sometimes.
Cray-cray.
Out of control.
Yeah.
And then I look at my phone and I'm like, curse you.
And the out of controlness is kind of out of our hands.
Yeah, it's out of our control.
Yeah.
So the out of control is out of control, and we just have to roll with the punches.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll be back up and operating and doing our best to keep you updated. And hopefully my computer will be better soon. I might just see if I can upload all these straight from my phone. it just doesn't have all the cool music and stuff in it when I do.
Right.
So I could do it. It just wouldn't have like our theme and everything because I wouldn't be able to edit it
from the phone until we figure it out.
Yeah. Then I can get all our past episodes uploaded too.
Cool.
And I'll get some clips out on TikTok.
Yeah.
And then we're going to be trying
You're really
a
good at
recipe
all
soon.
that.
Oh, thanks.
'Cause
I haven't been lately. Lately, my brain has been too full of other things
I
with
get it.
craziness. But hopefully it's clearing up. I say that, and then I twist my ankle. I'm telling you, I need.
wrap you in bubble wrap.
I know. I'm like, hey, I'm going to go out on a walk. Ow! My ankle!
I'm injured. Again.
IT crowd. I'm disabled. Leg disabled.
I'm disabled.
Leg disabled. Sorry, we're not making fun of disabled people.
No, that's not what that was.
There's a show called IT Crowd that we
it's
both love,
hilarious.
and it's from that.
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, you should watch it because it's hilarious.
British comedy.
Yeah. Whenever we quote, it's quoting shows and shows are sometimes inappropriate. Office, IT Crowd, yeah, all those good ones. Yeah. So, Schitt's Creek, I love that show. Hey, warmest regards. Best wishes.
I was gonna say that.
Okay, we'll try it again. Warmest regards. We did it.